Hello, students. Today I'm going to show you in detail how to complete and create the Hatchet slide presentation that you're responsible to do this week. You will get this template that I created to help you, but I'm also going to show you the directions, and I'm going to show you 2 sample slides of how to do them. So let me show you what the requirements are first. So the requirements are, just as it says here, Hatchet slide presentation requirements. First, create a slide for each chapter. 2, on each slide, include a sentence or sentences explaining important events in that chapter. And 3, include a picture or pictures that go with the sentences you wrote. So first, understand that I know you may not have your book at home. I know some of you left them at school. So I am also posting today the entire Hatchet book. This is the document that has Hatchet Chapter 5 highlighted. You don't really have to pay attention to the highlighting because it has the whole book for you. Even though Hatchet Chapter 5 is highlighted, it's the whole book. So if you need the book to look at, you just scroll through this document and find each chapter. Like there's Chapter 1. So you would look through the events of Chapter 1, reread that. Obviously not as fast as I'm scrolling here. Read through the chapter and find important events. Then you get to Chapter 2. Reread parts of Chapter 2 to find important events, etc. On and on and on. Okay, so you will have this template, and the template says Hatchet slide presentation by. You just type your name in there. For example, if your name is John Smith, and none of your name is John Smith, but if it was, you would type John Smith right in that spot. So all you have to do again is click right there, and it allows you to type right there. Again, John Smith. What else is Smith? John Smith. Okay, there you go. All right, and then you'll notice that it has a slide for each chapter: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and the epilogue. So 1 for each chapter. Okay, and again, just like on the other screen that I showed you on this screen where I typed in John Smith, you can just click. If you click right there, it allows you to click into the box. It might put you there. You just scroll yourself over, and it lets you type in something that was important in Chapter 1. Brian was on a plane with the pilot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you would decide what you think was important in each chapter. And again, if I'm on that slide, I just click right with the words, and then it allows me to type anything I want to type. But I wouldn't type that because that's just gibberish. Okay, there you go. All right. So I am going to show you how to do 2 sample slides with events that I picked from Chapter 1. So I'm going to scroll up here. So for Chapter 1, I had already typed these sentences in, and you see that I actually have 3 sentences here that I chose. Remember, it says in the directions on each slide, include a sentence or sentences explaining important events in that chapter. So I have 3 sentences here for Chapter 1. So Chapter 1 says, Brian Robeson is flying in a small single-engine plane with just him and the pilot. Brian is on the way to Canada to stay with his father for the summer. Suddenly, the pilot has a heart attack. So there's my sentences. So I want to look at the other requirement that says include a picture or pictures that go with the sentences you wrote. So I have sentences about Brian flying in the plane, Brian going to Canada to stay with his father, and the pilot having a heart attack. So I can go to Google if I want to find some things. In Google, if we click Google Images, it lets us search different things in images. We know that. So what I searched was Hatchet pilot heart attack. And I get a nice drawing that somebody did once of that. Looks like Brian and the pilot having a heart attack. So if I go there and I just right click, it brings up all these options. And if I go down to copy image, and if I left click, there I go, it's copied it. So now I can go back to my slide. I can paste it in there, and then I'm just going to adjust the size. I'm going to go into the corner. So you see it's a little too big there. So I go to the corner, drag it down, and I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. All right, there I go. Okay, so now I have a sentence for the pilot having a heart attack. A picture for the pilot having a heart attack to go with that sentence. I'm also going to now, I like the idea of Canada, how Brian was flying to Canada. So also on Google, I looked up Canada map. And in the Canada map, there's a lot of different pictures. I kind of like this one. It shows you all the different provinces in Canada. So again, I right click, scroll down, left click, copy image, and I paste it in there. And again, it's a little too big, so I slide it down there. I'm going to grab the corner, get it to the size I want, and then I'm going to stretch it. Okay, so now I have a sentence to go with Brian going to Canada. So I have 3 sentences but 2 pictures, but that's fine because that shows the events of the chapter of what's going on. So go to chapter 2. I picked Brian tries the headset radio to contact someone on the ground who can help him. It didn't work well, and Brian decides to try and land the plane on a lake. All right, so again, I read through chapter 2, and those are 2 events that I thought were important. So again, I go to Google Images, and I typed in radio headset, just like my sentence talks about a headset radio or a radio headset. I find a picture I like. I kind of like this one. Right, so again, I go, whoops, I don't want to do that. I go over to the picture, right click, my options come up. I go down to copy image, left click, go back to the slide presentation, again, drop it in, make it a little smaller, and there I go. All right, so now I have the radio headset, and I also have something about Brian trying to land the plane on a lake, and I'm thinking in that Brian was in a plane, so looking down on the lake, so I typed in Google Images lake overhead view, and then there's all these different pictures. I kind of like this one because you can see that it's got some trees around it, just like Brian would have seen, and a lake. All right, so again, I go right click, copy image, go back, paste that in. Okay, and there I go. All right, so that is an example of how to just do 2 different slides. Oh, then it didn't like that picture. Sometimes that happens. So if I go back, maybe I'll pick a different picture. Sometimes, yeah, it deletes those pictures out. So no big deal if that happens. I can just pick another picture I like. Let's see. Paste. Wait for it to come up, and there I go. All right, so there you go. So I have a different picture, not the first one I chose, but hey, that happens. So now I have the headset and the lake. All right, so I showed you how to do 2 pages. But again, there's your requirements. You'll be responsible to type in your own name, not John Smith. And then you'll be responsible to do a slide for each chapter. But they're all there for you. All you just have to do is find the events and put them in there. And again, if you don't have your book, use the document that I posted today, Hatchet, the entire Hatchet book. You can find each chapter in there. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. But that is basically the plan for your Hatchet slide presentation.